All right, welcome everyone to day 348 of the journey to 2000 ELO. There are, let's see here, so 17, 18 days left this challenge. So let's jump right into it. Gonna jump into a rapid game. White pieces, we get D4 and D5. Okay. Okay. Is it knight F3? Because here I can still go bishop D3. I go knight F3. I'm gonna go knight F3. Off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly the lines that I play against D5 and then C6. There's just so many variations of the London, and I'm trying to be as precise as possible because that's nice when you know like that you're still in theory. Bishop G4. Okay, probably just knight B to D2 is fine. Typically, like when they go bishop G4, it seems like you're not really, you don't need to play H3 or anything. I mean, I could to save my own bishop. But let's see, because if he takes, queen takes, you know, queen could be on a better square. So I think I'd rather just develop. And probably would rather my bishop be on D3 instead of bishop E2. So let's go ahead and play that. Also add some protection to the, oh wait, they can just go knight. Okay, so then if knight E4, I kind of have to go bishop E2. I don't have to, but because of course, like here takes, that would lose a piece. Okay, now I could go A3. I could also just go C3 to attack the weaknesses over there now that the bishop came out. C4 is possible as well, but yeah, but the problem is here, like there, bishop E2, if takes is the problem. So I could just go bishop D3 now, and then knight E4 is impossible. Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore this pin. I don't know if anyone saw, but who was it? Who was it? I think it was Nelson from Chess Vibes. Did a really cool video where he analyzed like 100 of Magnus's games, or 100 situations where Magnus was pinned. He broke it down like a pie chart, showing what he does when Magnus is pinned, and very rarely does he like do anything about it. He just ignores it in the majority of the cases. Okay, so bishop d6 is definitely coming here. And I'd like to respond to it with knight e5. So at this point, I might go h3, because if you were to go after my bishop, I might actually be giving that up. So I think I will go h3 now. It might not be the best move, but, you know, no need to take like a minute thinking on this move here. This is just attacking the bishop or asking it a question, and I'm also creating loot for my own bishop. But I have to be back it up, or I have to be able to back it up, because otherwise I still can't move the knight. So g4, bishop here, knight e5, then takes, knight has to move. And if here, yeah, I just don't want to. Okay, let's go for it. I don't typically do this, but I haven't castled kingside or anything, so. But yeah, I don't want to take that bishop, especially when I've played like h3, g4. So I'll just calculate again here. Knight e5 takes, pawn takes, He could jump the knight in there, I guess. That's actually maybe annoying. Here takes. Knight e4. Like if bishop takes, pawn takes. Oh, I can also, well, I could go knight h5. But again, I don't know if I actually want to take that bishop and open up the h file. That pawn could be kind of weak, but so here takes, d takes. Okay, well, I'm going to go for this. This is, yeah, unfortunately already a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like a lot of the positions in the London, I'm more comfortable in. I know the ideas, and I know some traps as well now. Yeah, I need to be a little bit careful of g5. So he might play like h6. But at least we didn't open up the h file here. He went ahead and took my bishop. So the pawns are doubled, but now at least that knight's not jumping into e4. And then I can try to fight for the e5 square. I'm not sure I want the king out like in the center with this pawn structure. I think I'm more comfortable just fighting for e5 and then maybe attacking on the king side if the opponent castles. So like, I don't want to keep my knight on h5. I'm going to go ahead and drop it back. And then I'll just take with a queen. That's like really the only thing that the only idea I have right now is fighting for the e5 square because black can't ever get their knight to e4. It's like the advantage of having that pawn, that double pawn. So if I just really fight for the e5 square, it's going to be hard to, should make it harder for black. And then if they ever take, like I can take with the pawn, knight back and get this nice structure, or I can drop the bishop back at some point and go f4 and just get like this big expansion. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to go, I don't know what that move does. It seems like maybe the first, maybe not inaccuracy, but I don't get the point of that. So if he goes here, I'm just going to drop the bishop back. Happy to do that. Here takes. Knight can't jump in anywhere else, so he's going back. And then I would be able to push d4. Um,
3 hours later.
I was just texting because I was basically waiting after for the last like 10-15 minutes, got bored. All right, well, game abandoned, so that was pretty quick, but my opponent had 96.6% accuracy. I had 95.6. It's pretty normal because we were still pretty much in theory there. So, but I want to take a look at this. I actually need to decide what I'm doing after like d5, c6. Okay, so it looks like h3 right away would have been better, and that does make some sense. Then if bishop g4, do we go g4? No, we go c4. Interesting. But why would this be? Because then what about this? We just take here. Knight takes d2. Queen takes, bishop takes. And I guess this is supposed to be better for white. Don't love it, but okay. All right. G4 was fine. It looks like castling instead was better. So it looks like there was never really like knight e5. Knight e4 was never really that big of a deal. Just bishops. What? Oh yeah, knight e4 wouldn't work because now it's protected. So just castling was better here. G4, knight h4. So black's actually better. I was not. Well, it's even, but black was definitely doing fine there. I'm just playing decent moves. I'm not necessarily playing the best moves. Queen b3. So here it wants queen b3 instead. And then if takes, knight takes. Okay, I mean, what if just like rook here? Oh, can't do that. Can't do that either. All right. If here, a3. Yeah, so it's nothing special. It's nothing crazy. I think all of my moves were fine. I just want to take a quick look here. What if knight takes, d takes e5, knight back? It does not want d4. d4 is not the best move. It's perfectly fine. Well, it's the second best move, actually. It's pretty equal. It wants a3. I would just think to play d4, and I'm just curious at this point. f6. Yeah, so f6 would have been good. I did not think about that move. I might think to play g5, actually. But I don't think, no. So g5 doesn't work. Just e takes, and then queen takes. Yes, I'm not loving this. I don't, computer, no, see, black's already better here. Here, black's slightly better. Okay, so like what if a3, queen takes, then f6, queen c3, just to further protect. So if they take, f takes, bishop takes, knight takes. This looks okay to me. Queen is nice and central. Okay, anyways. Okay. 1891 from Serbia, I believe. Okay. Good enough. Play a London. The Horwitz defense. All right. Here, I think I'm going to go knight. Start with knight d2. And we'll drop back. And then knight f3. Just think for a second here. I want to make sure. I could actually take, I think, on c5. Because then obviously if they grab the bishop, then I'm a pawn up and I can go b4. Or if takes, bishop takes, I've just forced the bishop to a worse diagonal. I don't think I want to do that though. Probably just the knight f3. Just making sure I'm getting the opening moves right. Okay, now I think knight e5. If takes here, f4 should be good for me. I know that I could get my bishop out first, but you know what? Actually, I think no, knight e5. And then this could lead to some traps, which I like. There's a few different traps that can arise from this position. Either way, it's even right now, I think. I was just trying to remember if it's bishop d3 first, but I don't think so. I think it's immediately knight e5. And then, like I said, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight here, f4. And that's, I believe, just good for white. They might go c4, and then that's what always makes me think, because c4 typically is not a good move, but it depends on the position, and like c4, b3, b5, a4, you know, that would work. Okay, we'll take back. And yeah, I hope it's always good. It's nice when they start trying to dislodge the knight from e5, because that's where all the traps come from. If they're not careful, you can sometimes like a Greek gift. So there's one that starts here. Oh, I guess it doesn't work. There's the b6 line where there's a trap, but that doesn't work because we go e4, so we can't do that. There's one where the knight goes back, queen goes to c7, if the rook goes over, because what you're looking for is basically the f7 square being undefended. So once the bishop's here, let's say like rook goes over, the knight's going back to try to put pressure here, you can actually sack the bishop, give the check, king's forced over, the rook's no longer defending f7s, then you take this with check, king goes back. Anyways, probably won't happen. Oh, here's a tactic. Takes and then takes. I'm not sure I actually want to do that in this case, though, because, I mean, it is a free pawn, but opens up the rook. So, like, takes, rook takes, bishop takes. Is it worth it? Takes. He can't move the bishop anywhere good to like attack my bishop on d6. So it'd have to be like takes, and either go back with the bishop, which surely can't be good, and then I could just drop back. The only thing I don't like about that is that then black can go e5, but I don't really think takes. Like if the bishop were to go back here, it would be a free pawn for me, though, so I think that's probably the move. I'm going to go for it. Oh, man. And I just got to make sure to get castled soon, because if they go e5, and my king's like really stuck in the middle, could be a little bit dicey, but I now have the bishop pair. Got e4 covered. Solid structure. But yeah, so I'm thinking I probably want to get that bishop out and castle, because black could try to create counterplay on the open f file. Go just knight f3 though. But yeah, if they go e5, the problem is they can very quickly get a lot of pressure on my king side. So I'm a pawn up. We'll see how the position unfolds, but I'll probably be looking to just like simplify and trade down to an endgame. Okay, so what are black's moves here? I mean, if they want to attack my bishop, I guess they could drop the knight back, but that looks bad. So they'd have to drop the bishop back to one of these squares. I'd consider that as a win for me, because they're undeveloping their own bishop, and that's not a good diagonal, really. And neither is that. That would be really bad. So, and I might get lucky and still be able to get my knight into e5 and play something like for a little bit harder when the rook is open, but at least it's making my opponent think. Okay. I don't need to. Oh, they're going for f5. Interesting. I'll probably just go bishop d3 then. I don't need to move the bishop yet. So like bishop d3, if they go here, I might just take that pawn, because that would totally shut down that file, doubles the, well, it actually doesn't double the pawns, but it weakens, creates an isolated pawn. And more importantly, I just have to develop. So bishop d3, don't think I want to take, even if it would be trading down with a pawn up. This bishop is way too much of a monster. Bishop d3 also stops knight e4. So bishop d3, knight f5, takes, castles, Just want to be careful of that. But yeah, if I can just get castled here, I should be better. And then we'll put pressure. Now the target in this position will be the weak, the backwards e-pawn. Black should rob. Oh, interesting. Pretty tempted to just take that. I haven't actually castled either, so I could think of castling queenside if I wanted to go for a kingside attack, but takes doubling up those pawns probably just looks good for me. Like, look at those. Those pawns are pretty weak. I think it's worth giving up the bishop. Also, it's a few too many pieces that are able to jump into my position. Let's see how this looks from my opponent's point of view. Like, if I were black and white plays queen c2, does that look kind of scary? I mean, this position does look kind of annoying, I'll be honest. Yeah, I think I'm going to play queen c2. I don't know why I wouldn't. So we will temporarily hold off on castling, although, oh geez, hold on. What if he plays? Okay, well now I can go bishop back. Oh, but I can throw that move in first, and then I could go bishop because it hits the rook. So like if takes with check, I'm better there. And takes, so takes, pawn takes, bishop here. How do you? I mean, that's a pretty monstrous bishop. The problem is they get e5, and I don't want e5 to happen. I want this to stay locked down because this bishop, if this bishop c6 looks awful unless they play e5 and like open up that diagonal. But if I just don't let that happen and close everything, I mean, this bishop is like virtually useless. So I think I'm going to start by playing this. Okay, now, but bishop e5, knight d7, takes, or I just drop all the way back, but then no, and then e5 still doesn't work, so I could try to go knight f3 first, but I'm also threatening to take on g6. So I think dropping all the way back is the answer. If anything, I want my knight on e5, so, or here, there, takes. That looks good. Then I'm winning this pawn by force as well. Yeah, I'm going to go for this, I think. I want to clamp down on the e5 square and then just like get castled and pick off the weak pawns. Ooh, that's a good move. I didn't see that. Shit. Oh, wait, no, I can still go knight f3. And takes is the same thing. This covers up. I'll feel a little bit better though when I get castled. And then if I can pick up the, yeah, so I mean, I should just be picking up this. Oh, interesting. But I can still take the pawn. Queen here, that's the issue. Then I'm in trouble. Okay, so I should probably just get castled first. No doubt black wants to create counterplay on the F file. Wait, what if I went here first? Is that crazy? I mean, I could castle queenside. Is this so crazy? Or does it have the same problem here? Takes, he wouldn't be able to go. So g4 goes back. Then we can grab g4. I mean, these are the only squares really. And then I could try to, yeah, castle queenside and just start a kingside attack. I bored the hell out of my opponent and they resigned. That's one way to win. Okay, I'm really curious though to look at this position and what the best follow-up was. So, clean game though. Let's switch to the, oh, I already have the eval up. Okay. Was my audio? Oh my god, the fucking audio for the moves wasn't working. Okay, well, anyways, so I got switch my view here. Ah. 85.4% accuracy. My opponent had 76. Pretty clean game. I had 2 misses, 2 inaccuracies. Played like a 2250. Well, no complaints there. Yeah. Switch the view back to the eval. Yeah, and my memory from the Horwitz is, I think I played this pretty cleanly. Okay, so you can go 95, but you can also go bishop d3. What I was saying to you guys, by the way, is like here, let's say rook e8 is a really normal move. And then you can go bishop d3. And then if they start trying to pile up, right, because the rook wants to open up, he wants to open up the e file and go e5. So you go here, and then if this starts, this is already a blunder because of this tactic. And then let's see. I don't know what the win would be here. Knight takes c. Oh yeah, and then you can pick up a bishop because they would not want to take. I mean, that's mate. So you grab the knight, takes, and you're just completely winning here. Lots of really cool traps if black isn't careful, but it starts with this very typical London setup with c5, d4, e6, and a knight on e5. But yeah, my opponent didn't really go into that. Knight takes f7 was best. Neat little tactic there. That's one of those tactics where, like, once you learn it, you never forget it. You just look for anything that cuts the queen off from that bishop when the bishops have that stare down. The queen's almost always still on d8, so you can sack. Even if the king hasn't castled, you can still sack because it hits the queen, creates a more immediate threat, and then you pick up the bishop, win a pawn. Bishop d3 is a miss. It wanted, what did it want? Bishop g3 is best. Oh, it wants me to like get the bishop out of dodge. This was also a miss. Wow, it really wants me to get the bishop back. Okay. White's still better, but bishop c6 is a miss. Yeah, I mean, I get this. Like, he doesn't want to undevelop the bishop, but this is just a terrible square for that bishop. Bishop takes g6 is an inaccuracy. Okay. It still just wants me to, really wants me to go back to, interesting. What about this? Oh, I just take on g6. And that's just horrible for black. They're about to get mated. Okay, so knight h5 was never really a threat. And this idea was not the greatest. But then it looks like it, Jesse, if you guys watched the video with Jesse, National Master Jesse Cohen that we did, he's mentioned a couple times, he says, you know, a mistake is only as good as it can be punished or exploited. And, you know, a good move, or what is it? A good move is only as good as it can be converted, right? So this is an inaccuracy, but probably only if black plays it right, because you can see that taking was a mistake, and now all of a sudden I'm back to winning. I mean, this is just like, this knight is monstrous. Okay, so we're here. That's where the opponent resigned. I don't think taking here works. Yeah, because queen here and I'm losing a piece. So I was just going to castle. Yeah, looks like castling is best. And then just, it's a pretty easy position to play out, honestly, but I'm curious. So here, and then queen g5, a little bit scary. Rook f to e1, a little bit scary. Putting pressure on the e pawn. Rook, yeah, this is, and then we play f3. A little bit scary though, because seriously, you make one wrong move and they can take on f3 because this is pinned. Bishop e8. would not be a very human looking move. But yeah, this all of a sudden is like I'm winning, but not the easiest to convert, and you are being attacked. So okay, cool. Well, if you like this, you might also like the last video I did with National Master Jesse Cohen, as well as another YouTuber, Pillaging Pony Chess, who's about a 2,000 rated player. And it's basically both of us learning from Jesse. He's teaching us, you know, how to get to 2,000, 2,200 and beyond. And then we played him.
My opponent has decided that he wants to beat me.
Make it happen.
Ah!
If you want to see that, click on the video below.